Lesson 8, Light and Shadows. Student, today we will understand shadows formed at different times of the day. Have you ever noticed the size of your shadow at different times of the day? Shadows formed in the sunlight keep on changing their size and direction during different time. As the position of the sun changes, shadows change too in size and directions. The shadows in the morning and evening are the longest. At noon, around 12 o'clock, shadows are the shortest as the sun is overhead. Student, you have to understand that in the morning and in the evening, the shadows are the longest. And at noon, around 12 o'clock, shadows are the shortest because sun is overhead. Student, now today we have to understand activity 3. Aim to find out how the size of the shadow changes. Materials used: an electric torch and a toy. Procedure: Number 1. Switch on the torch and place it on a table near the wall. Number 2. Position the toy between the torch and the wall such that the shadow of the toy falls on the wall. Number 3. Move the toy close to the torch and then away from the torch and observe how the shadow changes on the wall. Observations. In this activity, we have to observe that when the toy is close to the torch, the shadow is big in size. Okay, when the toy is very close to the torch, the shadow is very big in size. And when the toy is moved away from the torch, the shadow becomes smaller. So, we have to observe that when the toy is close to the torch, the shadow is big in size, and when the toy is moved away from the torch, the shadow becomes smaller. Conclusion: shadow becomes small when the distance between the source of the light and the opaque object is increased. On the other hand, the size of the shadow increases when the distance between the torch and the opaque object is decreased. Student, now we have to understand the checkpoint of this chapter. State whether the following statements about shadows are true or false. Number 1. Shadows are of same color as the object. It is false. Number 2. Shadow is formed on the opposite side of the light source. It is true. Yes, shadow is formed on the opposite side of the light source. So, it is true. Number 3. The size of the shadow is always constant. It is false. Number 4. The shadow formed by the sun is longest at noon. It is false. Number 5. Transparent objects do not form shadows. It is true, because we know that transparent objects do not form shadows. So, this is true.